Senator Urquhart.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. There is one side of this place that has a plan to damage business and consumer confidence, and that is not my side of this place. There is one side that come in here day after day after day, ranting on about how our way of life is being ruined. They forget that Australia's economy is outperforming the world. We're in our 20th year of economic growth, a record unmatched by any other advanced economy. They forget that through Labor's quick action through the global financial crisis and the resilience of our economy, we are now in a strong position. They forget that Australia's GDP is significantly higher than its pre-GFC level, while many advanced economies are still struggling to make up for lost ground. They forget that our unemployment rate is lower than all but one major advanced economy. They always forget that Australia has lower government debt and lower budget deficits than any other of the major advanced economies, and we will return to a budget surplus sooner. They forget that in the May budget, real growth in spending averaged 1% a year over the 5-year forward estimates, the lowest average growth rate in any 5-year period since the 1980s. They forget that, in contrast, real spending growth averaged 3.7% a year in the last 5 years of the former government. The Gillard Labor Government understands that it is important to keep government spending growth low so as not to crowd out private sector investment, something the former government seemed to forget in their final years. They forget that there are currently severe economic problems across the world, from the Mediterranean to the United States. Their focus is so insular that they forgot that these global issues weigh on the minds of businesses and consumers, resulting in movements in the confidence of these groups. It is clear that the opposition have lost their way and are stuck in a deep hole of negativity. They concentrate on blustering negative anecdotes, and the facts are blatantly against them. The facts are that under this Labor government, Australia has low unemployment, strong job creation, record terms of trade and an unprecedented pipeline of business investment. And while our fundamentals are strong, the government has a clear plan to maximise Australia's opportunities by getting back into the black by 2012-13, investing in productive capacity and boosting participation, moving to a clean energy future and advancing tax reform. Today we focus on Labor's plan to cut carbon pollution and drive investment in clean energy technologies and infrastructure like solar, gas and wind. It will help build the clean energy future for our kids and our grandkids. Labor is committed to cutting carbon pollution because climate change is an issue that is not going to go away. Treasury estimates that if it were to not put a price on action now, a price over $60 a tonne will be required to make the necessary cuts in carbon emissions. It is unfortunate that those on the opposite have come in here today to completely misrepresent the Gillard Labor Government's goal in this space. Today they have put forward a matter of public importance that states the Gillard's government's plan to damage business and consumer confidence through the introduction of a carbon tax. Let's examine that for a moment. Those opposite are so disingenuous that they purport that this Gillard Labor Government has a plan to damage business and consumer confidence. They also purport that those on this side of this place have come here with a wrecking ball, seeking to destroy the way of life of hard-working Australians. There is one side of politics that has the wrecking ball out, and that is definitely not this side. We have a plan for Australia's future, and we are a party that is standing up and making the tough decisions. Labor is the party that is saying yes to taking action on climate change, not hiding behind 2 letters found consecutively in the middle of the alphabet. Every cent raised from the carbon price will help businesses make the transition to a clean energy economy, to assist households and tackle climate change. The Gillard Labor Government will support small businesses through the transition to a clean energy future, as we appreciate the important contribution small businesses make to the economy and to supporting jobs. The carbon pricing mechanism will not apply to small business. It will apply to around 500 of the biggest polluters who will be required to pay for their pollution. Small businesses will not have to count or monitor their carbon pollution or electricity use. They will not have to fill in a single form as part of the carbon price reform. Specifically, the Gillard Labor Government is delivering a small business assistance package worth $1.3 billion in the 2013-2014 income year to businesses with an annual aggregate turnover of less than $2 million. 96% of Australian businesses, approximately 2.7 million small businesses, fall into this category. Hardly the wrecking ball those opposite continue to somehow believe. Further, while most small businesses will not be materially affected by the carbon price, the Gillard Labor Government recognises the huge contribution small businesses make to our economy. So we are extending the small business instant asset write-off threshold to $6,500. This will boost cash flow and help small businesses to grow and invest in assets. The Gillard Labor Government will also establish a $40 million program to provide information to small businesses and community organisations on practical measures they can take to reduce their energy costs. Being able to get clear information from trusted sources is vital to small business. This program will be delivered through grants to industry associations and non-government organisations which have established relationships with small businesses and community organisations. The Gillard Government will also provide additional funding to improve delivery of clean technology advice and other non-grant business support programs to small and medium businesses. These include the Supplier Advocates and Enterprise Connect. Enterprise Connect advises small businesses on knowledge, tools and expertise to improve productivity, increase competitiveness and realise their growth potential. I have seen the benefits of Enterprise Connect's work firsthand, where their services resulted in an expansion of the Hyvertech workshop in Burnie, Tasmania. One example of many of the fantastic work undertaken by Enterprise Connect, a program that those opposite have threatened to axe, a program that actually solves a problem with industry, where small and medium-sized business owners who do not have the time or expertise to take their business to the next step. Enterprise Connect provides advisors with real business experience to facilitate the next steps in a business journey. Additionally, all businesses in the food processing, metal forging and foundry industries will be able to apply for grants for energy efficiency improvements under the $200 million Clean Technology Food and Foundries Investment Program. This Gillard Labor Government sees assisting households through the transition to a clean energy future vital for both consumer and business confidence. The initial carbon price of $23 per tonne will have a modest impact on overall household living costs. The Treasury estimates that it will trigger an increase in the Consumer Price Index of 0.7%, or $9.90 per week in average household living costs, of which about half is due to higher household energy bills. That is why 9 out of 10 households will get assistance under the Household Assistance Package to support them through the transition, but to also support those small businesses that rely on household expenditure. In fact, almost 6 million households will get assistance that meets or exceeds their expected average price impact. Those opposite do not see supporting households through the transmission to a clean energy future as important. Not only will their plan to cut emissions, which one can only hope they still hold, cost the average household $1,300 per year, but they will also rip away the government's entire household assistance package. So not only will those opposites seek to slug households with a $1,300 new tax that they will give to some polluters whom they have chosen, but they will rip away any assistance that includes any increases in the pension, unemployment benefits and family tax benefits. So much for looking after consumer confidence. Just yesterday, the Australian Council of Social Services said, ACOS has long accepted the overwhelming scientific consensus that climate change will affect us all, and are motivated by the stark reality that people who live in vulnerable situations and on low incomes will be affected first and worst. This is the reason we have argued that effective and equitable action is vital to reduce carbon pollution, and we are keen to work with all parties to help build a community consensus around the solutions. ACOS then went on to say, ACOS is satisfied that the Householder Assistance Package will provide people on low incomes with sufficient compensation to cover the anticipated modest increases in costs flowing to consumers. Under the Gillard Labor Government, assistance is permanent and it will increase. The extra payments are indexed to any future consumer price increases.
Senator Urquhart, your time's expired.